You ever think of yourself as being someone who's been trained to think and behave and respond in the ways that you do?
You must stay at home.
Stay home.
We can stop the spread by staying at home and reducing contact.
They're trying to train you to be a certain way. They're trying to train you to meet their needs in a particular kind of fashion.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Do wash your hands often.
Wash your hands to the national anthem.
Stop shaking hands.
That a defining feature of narcissism is manipulation.
My fellow Americans, tonight I want to speak with you about our nation's unprecedented response to the coronavirus outbreak.
They approach you with a thought that says, I have my needs and it's your job to comply with me.
I urge you, at this moment of national emergency, to stay at home, protect our NHS, and save lives.
There are certain predictable tactics that they tend to use to keep you in line and to keep you giving them the supply that they need. So let's go through 8 of what I would consider to be some of the most common tactics they use. It's not an exhaustive list, but at least it can give you an idea of how this could work. For example, number 1, as they try to manipulate you into their schemes, they can use the buddy tactic.
I want to thank everyone who is working flat out to beat the virus. Everyone from the supermarket staff to the transport workers to the carers to the nurses and doctors on the front line.
As history has proven time and time again, Americans always rise to the challenge and overcome adversity.
And I want you to know, Canada is here for you.
A second tactic that they can use, and that is they can use offer you what I would call intellectual empathy.
I'm in no doubt that the measures I've announced today will cause unprecedented economic and social disruption, but they are necessary. I know people will want to act as enforcers, and I understand that. People are afraid and they are anxious.
I know people would probably prefer to just carry on as normal. I would too. But we all must take all action through social distancing to protect our health and the health of others.
No Prime Minister wants to enact measures like this. I know the damage that this disruption is doing and will do to people's lives, to their businesses, and to their jobs.
A third tactic that narcissists can commonly use is they can go into the now you owe me mentality.
Our doctors and nurses need your help. Your neighbors need your help. Vulnerable people in the community need your help.
Together we do have an opportunity to contain the spread and to prevent the worst. I cannot stress enough the need for every New Zealander to follow the advice I've laid out for you today.
In this fight, we can be in no doubt that each and every one of us is directly enlisted. Each and every one of us is now obliged to join together to halt the spread of this disease, to protect our NHS, and to save many, many thousands of lives.
Then a fourth tactic they can often use is they'll appeal to both loyalty and then guilt.
These measures, and especially social distancing, are how we can ease the burden on our doctors and nurses so they can focus on our fellow Canadians who need it most.
This is just a temporary moment of time that we will overcome together as a nation and as a world.
Now I'm asking you to do everything you can to protect all of us. None of us can do this alone. Your actions will be critical to our collective ability to stop COVID-19. Failure of anyone to play their part in coming days will put the lives of others at risk, and there will be no tolerance for that.
This is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you, the people you work with, the people you care about, the people you love.
Then they can continue on, and a fifth tactic they can use is words of incredulity.
My message to unvaccinated Americans is this: what more is there to wait for? What more do you need to see?
there are still almost 9 million people eligible who haven't had their booster. And it's absolutely heartbreaking that as many as 90% of those in intensive care with COVID have not had their booster. And over 60% of those in intensive care with COVID have not had any vaccination at all. People are dying needlessly because they haven't had their jabs and they haven't had that booster.
People on their deathbeds among the unvaccinated over the past few weeks.
Sixth, what they can do is they can start going into the invalidation mode.
Your failure to get vaccinated doesn't just put you at risk. I think this is what is important. In a way, if this were just a personal decision for people, and you get vaccinated, you don't get vaccinated, it's you who suffers if you don't. But it's not you who suffers if you don't, simply. It's also other people.
The unvaccinated overcrowd our hospitals, are overrunning emergency rooms and intensive care units, leaving no room for someone with a heart attack or pancreatitis or cancer.
No, if you make the judgment to not get vaccinated and you reckon you can wait out us or the publican or whoever you want to think you're waiting out, you won't wait out the virus because the virus will be here for a long time.
Number 7, then they can start going into the use of threats.
We will not hesitate to use our enforcement powers if needed.
And we are marshaling the full power of the federal government and the private sector to protect the American people.
If you don't follow the rules, the police will have the powers to enforce them.
And then finally, an 8th tactic, and I strongly suspect many of you have been up against this, they can go straight into their anger mode with lots of criticism or harshness or insults, name calling.
Frankly, if you're not vaccinated at the moment and you're eligible and you've got no health reason for not being vaccinated, you're not just irresponsible. I mean, you're an idiot.
Many of us are frustrated with the nearly 80 million Americans who are still not vaccinated.
What a tragedy that we've got all this pressure on the NHS, all the difficulties that our doctors and nurses are experiencing. And you've got people out there spouting complete nonsense about a vaccination. They are totally wrong.
We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin. And your refusal has cost all of us.
The net result of all of these different manipulative tactics is you might stand down. It's like you'll capitulate and you'll comply, and that's what narcissists want you to do.
My job as president is to protect all Americans.
Act now, or risk the virus taking hold as it has elsewhere.
If we act now, even if it seems like a big ask, things will be better tomorrow.
Smart action today will prevent the spread of the virus tomorrow.
And to get vaccinated is actually part of it's almost part of your civic duty.
Narcissists want to train you. That's part of their manipulative ploy. But the good news is you don't have to be trained. You want to have an inside-out kind of mindset that says, I'm going to consult my own good ideas of who I'm going to be. I'm always open to input, but at the end of the day, I need to be true to my real self. And that being the case, I'm hoping that you can live with a sense of steadiness and confidence, and that will allow you to claim your place of peace.